Hello, 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 sellers. It's Kathy, and I love to be selling. Come on in. We're going to talk about do this, and you will sell more on eBay. And this is in response to actually two things I've seen posted on social media that are a little bit off. I know this shocks you. Something off posted on social media. And I wanted to respond because what happens so many times is people will post things, and this person posted saying, I did X, and I'm going to say what it was, and my sales flatlined. And I read it, and it just sounded a little off, and there's ways to check. So we always want to, hi, Vicki, good morning, good to see you. And whenever you see things posted like that, if it's on eBay's site, if it's an eBay announcement, if it's coming from senior staff, yes. I go, yes. Thank you, Jamie Iannone. Yes, I pay attention to it. But again, sellers, and I'm going to give the seller the benefit of the doubt, they're sharing their experience. And always when people are sharing things like my sales flatlined, my sales have tanked, is what are they selling, right? You always want to know, what are they selling? Because, for instance, something could be highly popular. I'm actually going to show you how to research something like this. But I was thinking there was a very, very funny ad when Queen Elizabeth was alive, and it was for the London Olympics, and it was Queen Elizabeth with Paddington Bear. It was really, actually, was it the Olympics? I think it was. There was one with the Olympics with James Bond. Anyway, there was an ad. Oh, no, it was her Jubilee. You're going to correct me. Now I'm going to have to look at. So it was Queen Elizabeth with Paddington Bear. Let me just see. And I thought when I saw the ad, one, it was very, very, very funny. It was on, I caught it on YouTube. And I went, anybody who's selling anything Paddington Bear, hang on a second, Queen Elizabeth, Paddington Bear. The Paddington Bear stuff should be flying off the shelves because this is just so funny. So that can happen. Something's on trend because of social media. I was thinking Robert Downey Jr. when he won the Academy Award. Things for Iron Man might have gotten hot for a couple of days. Here we are. Joins the Queen for afternoon tea. Okay, what she has to do. Okay. It was for her 70th year reign. Okay, so it was for her Jubilee. Queen Elizabeth. Yeah, wasn't it cute? I loved it. And you can go look at it. It's a very cute video. And I was brought up with Paddington Bear, so I'm a huge fan of Paddington. So I was like, yay. But something like that. So then all of a sudden, it's not that Paddington isn't always popular, but it's going to get really popular. Okay. Same thing with Robert Downey Jr. I'm sure anything related to him has a degree of popularity, but all of a sudden he wins the Academy Award, anything related to him could go off the scale. So what the seller was sharing, and also those of you who joined me live, Vicki, thank you. On my Facebook business page, thank you. I love to be selling. I also put the video on my YouTube channel, Kathy Terrell, I love to be selling. So thank you, YouTube people. Thank you for subscribing. You can hit subscribe when you catch this on YouTube. I appreciate it. And your comments there, and that is me responding. And those of you who downloaded from my podcast, Kathy Terrell, I love to be selling. We just crossed 100,000 downloads. So thank you, podcast people. But I saw this post. Now, if you haven't heard, go to my YouTube channel, and let me look it up so I give you the right name. May 15th, 2024, eBay, for a lot of sellers, is changing the default setting on shipping, and you should be aware of this because you want to check what your setting is. Say that one quickly. And the YouTube is called, Will eBay Shipping Kill Your Profits? Okay, so hop on my YouTube channel, you'll find that. So when it came out, so I put out the YouTube. eBay has not announced the policy publicly. They have, quote, emailed people that are impacted by it. But strangely, people that are using, and it's about calculated shipping, people that use calculated shipping didn't get the email, and people that don't use calculated shipping did get the email. So I encourage you, watch the video, Will eBay Shipping Kill Your Profits? Because it's about a change that might be happening to your default setting in your eBay shipping. Your shipping preferences, which is under account settings. And what it is that eBay will default you to that you will pass the discount that you receive from eBay. And this is true whether you have a store or not. The price that you pay for your shipping, if you're not aware of this, when you use eBay shipping labels, is less than retail. Retail being what you would pay when you go to the post office, stand online, and do your shipping there. And also just give a shout out, particularly for our newer sellers, because I shop on eBay quite frequently, is don't pay retail. Don't stand online at the post office and be paying retail. If you're not aware of this, you can generate a QR code when you're going to ship the item if you don't have a printer in your home. And you can go to the post office and give them the QR code because you pay for the shipping label, and you'll get the discounted rate. And let me tell you, you save $2 or $3 this way. So what eBay's letting folks know is that buyers are sensitive to shipping costs. Totally understand that. I shop on eBay. And so they're going to change the default to that you pass your discount to your buyers so that they pay what you pay. And you might want to take a look at that, because on lighter items, if you do that, and just for you to know, on all eBay shipping, you pay a final value fee on your shipping. So particularly on lighter items, if you're passing your discount, so let's say you pay $6 or $5, and then the buyer is charged that, you actually lose money on the shipping because of the final value fee. Okay, so either you've got margins to be able to absorb that, or you don't. And if you don't check that you pass that on. If you get a message, you can opt out. If you don't get a message, just go and check your settings and make sure that you don't pass your discounted rate to your shoppers, unless you want to. And if you do, then you check that off. So this person in the group, this was a Facebook group, was claiming that they had not opted in to pass their discount, which a lot of sellers aren't. They're like, no, eBay, I will not pass my discount. And this seller, and again, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, claimed their sales have flatlined ever since they did that. So, and I'm going to, take them at their word. So let's say they were getting, and they didn't say how many sales they typically get. Let's say they get 3 to 5 sales a day. And then when they posted, and they said it had been for several days. So let's just give them a benefit of doubt. Let's say like a week, all of a sudden their sales flatline. So this is my response. I'm going to take them at their word. Has something changed? Were they selling very trendy items like the Paddington Bear Queen Elizabeth thing? If they say, no, Kathy, no, I'm not selling trendy things, just selling regular, soup to nuts seller, and all of a sudden my sales have flatlined, then question 2, when this happens, is, has your weekly, daily, whatever amount of time that you invest in your eBay, because some of us are part-time, some of us are full-time, have your habits, your eBay habits, your selling habits changed drastically in the past week? For instance, I actually had a lovely conversation with a seller, and they said, well, Kathy, my sales are down, I think they said like half of what they typically are. So we continued the conversation. And what it turned out was the seller typically in the past had been listing 3 to 5 items a day. And because of circumstances in their life, they were now doing 3 to 5 a week. So let's say that was 3 a day. Let's say you take a day off. That's 18 items a week they're listing. Now they're down to, let's say, 5. That's less than half. And this seller claimed that their sales had dropped about 30%. And what I said to them was, well, actually, you're doing great because your listing has dropped to half of what it was, but your sales only dropped 30%. So that's actually good. So again, if you're listing much less, okay, don't beat yourself up. Like if you typically list 4 things a day and you've only been able to get up 3 a day, no, your sales aren't going to flatline from that. But if you've been doing 5 a day and you go down to 1 a day, that's a big difference. If you've been slacking on the research, and this can happen to all of us, which is you really haven't been checking going prices, right? You've just been putting things up. Perhaps it's a category you're very experienced with. You researched it 6 months ago or a year ago, but you haven't researched it recently. That can be it, okay? It also might be that your inventory changed up if you're a soup to nuts seller, which is you were listing and selling a lot of puzzles. Let's say those sold really well. Lately, you've been listing, I'm going to say men's sweaters. And for whatever reason, men's sweaters aren't really flying off the shelf right now. Okay, so has your listing habits changed? Has your inventory changed? Are you staying diligent, say that one quickly, on research? Okay. Now, one thing that can really help, back to the bears, because I looked up plush bears, is things can change, and it can be because there's a lot of other sellers selling it too. Even when you're soup to nuts, even when you're vintage, even when you're unique, one of a kind, you know, so you're not going into Walmart and grabbing a bunch of things that are on clearance, retail arbitrage, or local Macy's or Nordstrom's, but you're doing thrift shops. But the interesting thing is sometimes just all of a sudden, a lot of people are finding, you know, vintage mice or vintage puzzles or whatever, and it's getting listed. And there wasn't so many, you know, previously. So this is what can really help. Everybody has access to Terapeak. And if you don't use Terapeak, I encourage you to do it. And eBay's promising us that it will roll out on the app. But right now you would have to be on a desktop or a laptop to pull it up. And I'm going to show you my Terapeak. So hang on just a second. And if you're not, let's make it bigger. There we go. Okay. So let's say, so back to, I wanted to pick something sort of generic, but obviously you can do this in any category. So what you want to do is on Terapeak, I looked up Winnie the Pooh because I figured pick Pooh. Winnie the Pooh plush teddy bear. Sales for the past 30 days. And you scroll down, and this is what's helpful. And realize, look at all those filters. So you can filter by prices and condition, but I just did generic Winnie the Pooh plush, and my time frame was 30 days. And so let's say I listed a bunch of stuffed bears, and typically my bears sell really well, and all of a sudden my bears have flatlined. So average sold price is 53, nice. Huge range on price, obviously because it's going to depend on how collectible. Average on shipping, and this is what I wanted to point out, because let's say you opted out of passing your discounted rate to your shoppers, which is fine, a lot of sellers are. But let's say you're listing in a category where a lot of sellers are doing very low shipping prices on the items. And this can happen, and this is why you need to go to Terapeak, and you need to take a look at what people are charging for shipping, and then do look at size, right? Because some things, for instance, if it's a dress or a gown or a shirt, think golf clubs, you know, it could be, you know, this golf club is much heavier than that golf club. So you always got to, you know, scroll through them and take a look. With something like the teddy bears, there's a big range in size. So you got to take a look at that. But you get an idea of what's going on. If let's say I've been charging, you know, $15 or $10 on my teddy bear shipping, and then I scroll through here, and it doesn't seem like a big deal. So we got one for 10, one for 6, one for $5.50, one for $6.23, one for $5.90. And the $10 one is an antique, very unique. So clearly, if I'm selling an antique, very unique, I'm probably going to put more padding in. I might even do a box within a box. I'm definitely not sticking him in a padded mailer. It's going in a box again, so it might be heavier. But the shipping looks like $5.50 to $6.50. And if for whatever reason you've been charging, let's say $10.50, and that's been working fine for you, but now all of a sudden there's a lot of sellers that are passing their discounted rate, and all of a sudden they're charging $6.50. You know, you go, $4 isn't that big a deal. Yeah, but if you're selling things that are very similar to other people, and they are $4 less money than you, unless there is something really fantastic, like let's say it could be, and this is why you then go and look at the listings, the people that are doing $5.50, $6.50 shipping, they don't offer returns, and you do. So if your competition's not doing returns, you are offering returns. Typically, you can charge a little more on shipping, or you can charge the same on shipping, and because you're offering returns, yours will sell. So if your sales are flatline, go to Terapeak, pull up some categories that you're selling in, take a look at the shipping. Because if for some reason a lot of the competition is much lower on shipping, and it could be because they opted into this thing of passing their discount to their shoppers, that can hurt. You know, $1, $2, no, in my opinion. $4 or $5, yes. You know, with the current economy, people are really look to save money. Russell, what you want to do for knowing how to opt out of the passing your shipping discount is take a look at, hop over to my YouTube channel, Kathy Terrell, I Love to Be Selling. It is the very first YouTube up at the top. It's going to be the second because this is going to go over there soon. You're looking for a woman who's staring at her iPhone, and the title says, will eBay shipping kill your profits? I actually do screenshots and I walk you through the whole process. Okay, so watch that. If you have questions after you watch it, just post it right under the YouTube. I typically answer within 48 hours, okay? But great question. So sales have flatline. Competition could have opted into passing their discount. Their shipping might be much lower than you. How do I know quickly, easily? Go to Terapeak. And what's interesting on this, my Winnie the Pooh study, this is for the past 30 days. See up here, you can scroll. Let me see if it does it. And then what I did was I went to 7 days and you click research. Let me see if this comes through. Yeah, it does. Okay, good. Thank you. And then scroll down. Hang on a second. Scroll down. And only 3 sold. So it tells me, interesting, teddy bears have slowed up a bit. And the interesting thing is the shipping is lower. So that I find really interesting, because the 30-day, the shipping rate was like $6.50, $8.50 in here. And the 3 that have sold, and again, this is just the last 7 days. So I did a much tighter time frame. And I encourage you to do that because you can see if there's any trend up or down. And what I looked at was $5.90, $6.75, and $6.15. So the shipping dropped on the 3 that sold. That's what I'm interested in, what's selling. So if your shipping's much higher than that, that can be what's impacting the sale. So always take a look at that. If you've had pretty, things have been chunking along, hop over to Terapeak, search your main categories, okay? And if it's a broad one like women's dresses, t-shirts, go into your price range, go into your brand, and then you can see the ones that sold. See if they did free shipping, if they charged for shipping, what the price was. That'll really, really, really help you. Okay, but this was the seller who said my sales have flatlined because I did not pass the discount to my shoppers. And my response is you need to go and look at what is selling in the categories you sell in and see if yes, indeed, that is the case. Okay, because it could be other things. It's, selling things that are on trend, selling things, sales go up and down depending on what you're selling. But take a look at that because there is a good chance that some of your competition might have dropped their shipping costs, and that could be doing it. And then you got to look at whether it works for you and your margins, what you need to make to drop your shipping costs a little bit and pass it on, because the ones that sold recently on this bears, it was less money. Okay. Then the other thing I saw, interesting things that I have seen on Facebook this week is somebody, and again, I'm all of this, I give people the benefit of the doubt because sometimes you just don't know, is saying I do promoted listings and I get zero views from promoted listings and I'm giving promoted listings money. That's unusual. So what it is if you're not aware of this, you've got several places to go to where you can see data about your sales. So you've got your advertising dashboard, which is under promotions on eBay. And that'll show you things about your promoted listings campaigns that you've opted into. Okay, so if you're not doing promoted listings, you're not going to see any data in your advertising dashboard. But if you have, then you will. But there's another report if you have an eBay store, if you're not aware of this. So in your seller hub, you've got, where is it? You've got, sorry, you guys, it's under marketing. It's like talk. Under marketing, you have an advertising dashboard that shows you your promoted listings. But under store, if you're not aware of this, if you have an eBay store, so this is for my eBay store people, under eBay store, you have edit store, store categories, and you have a new wonderful traffic report. So you have a traffic report, thank you, eBay, under performance, which everybody has, by the way. And if you don't look at your traffic report, do, because it lets you know if you're getting traffic, which is a good thing to know. But you also have a store traffic report, not under performance, but under store. Say that one. It's like, okay, eBay. So you have 2 traffic reports, one under performance, and that's overall, you'll see that. And then you have one specifically for your store. And this seller had not gone to the general traffic report and had not gone to their advertising dashboard, which is where the results of their campaign were. They went to their store report, which very honestly, I use my traffic. I use Terapeak. I don't think I've ever used my store report. So thank you, eBay, for giving it to us, but I don't use it. And in her store report, and I'm going to show you mine, where are we? Which again, this is under store traffic. And just in case you don't have it, because on mine, it does say store traffic new, but I assume everybody's got this. So if you have an eBay store, check it out, because this might become your new favorite report. It's just not one that I use. I use the regular traffic reports, and I do use promoted listings, advertising dashboard reports. I find them very helpful. So hang on a second just to check on, here we are, review your store traffic. So this is it underneath review your store traffic. Now, and this is what was confusing this seller. So you come here, you go, okay, I'm looking at my store traffic report, and it shows visits from promoted ads. Then you go 0. And if you're running a promoted listings campaign, you're going, what? It's like, what? And if you're not aware of this with eBay, notice, and this is fun, you have these little eyes or pills next to these. And if you haven't clicked these are very helpful. I encourage you to click them unless there's some kind of site glitch and then you can't see it. And oh, by the way, look at this. Give us feedback. This is all over eBay's pages. And do give feedback when you're on pages that you love or pages that you don't love. The teams do read it. It does help them. But look at this. So visits, and what it does is it defines the terms, which can be really helpful. Look at this. So visits from promoted ads. It's like, okay, eBay, what is this? The number of visits to your store from promoted display ad campaigns, not regular promoted listing standard, and it's not a promoted listing advanced campaign where you're bidding on keywords. This is a display ad for your store that you pay for, okay? So if you have not bought one, I haven't yet, I might. Notice it's 0. So what happened for this seller is they were looking at this and they're going, I've got no views from my promoted listings. It's like, no, you do, but you have to go over to advertising dashboard and look there. It's not going to show on the store traffic. Okay, and when in doubt, when you see those little eyes, it's called pills. When you see those little eyes on things, click them. eBay will define the terms. And what I'll do sometimes is screenshot it so I can remember. But that's why. Okay. So if you've opted out of passing your discount and you've noticed a shift in your sales, realize that there might be sellers that you're competing with that have not opted out of it and are offering and passing their discount. So do take a look at what's going on in big categories for you so that you stay competitive with people. And I find the easiest way to check that is with Terapeak. Okay. And then if you're somebody that's using promoted listings, and you want to check on your data, you want to go to the advertising dashboard under promotions. You don't want to go to the store traffic report again, unless you're running a billboard ad, and then you do want to take a look at that. I do have a guide because people have been asking about these changes that are coming to promoted listings. It does roll out May 15th, and you can select what you want now. Even with selecting now what you want as far as your rate, whether you want to pass your discount or don't pass your discount, I strongly, I cannot more emphasize this, I strongly encourage you on May 15th to go into your account settings and your shipping preferences and double check, even though you swear you opted out, you swear you've picked whatever you've picked, make sure your settings are what you want. And you're going to want to do that on the 15th when eBay changes the default settings for many sellers. And if you're unclear about it, it might work for you to pass it because you've got killer margins. I really encourage you to read my guide. It's free. So hop over to I Love to Be Selling. That's my website. Grab this. Tons and tons of sellers have grabbed it. I've gotten the nicest emails. So thank you, everybody, thanking me for this. I show you screenshots. I walk you through it. I explain. I let you know your choices, because those of you who follow me know that what I advocate is giving you the information so then you can make the best choice for you and your selling. It's what I do with my private client. It's what I do with my members and Love to Be Selling Insider. And it's what I do in my guides is I let you know So then you can make an informed decision for yourself. Okay, so grab the guide. It's free, Insider's Guide to eBay's new calculated shipping update. Thanks for joining me. Thank you, Russell. Thank you, Vicki. And have a wonderful day, wonderful week. Bye-bye, everybody. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling.